go ahead and find a nice, comfortable, quiet place. Sitting in a cross-legged position, maybe placing a block or a blanket underneath the sit bones as we meditate on God's scriptures today. Begin to bring awareness to the body. Beginning to breathe in through your nose and exhaling out through the mouth. Noticing here how your body begins to relax with each breath. On your next exhale, notice how your shoulders soften as you breathe out. Continue that breath on your own. On your next inhale, begin to soften through the jaw. As you exhale, soften through the eyes. Still being alert to the sounds around you, but finding a posture of relaxation. As you continue to breathe, I'm going to read you Psalm 27, 12 through 14. Give me not up to the will of my adversaries, for false witnesses have risen against me, and they breathe out violence. I believe that I shall look upon the goodness of the Lord in the land of living. Wait for the Lord, be strong, and let your heart take courage, and wait for the Lord. Begin to breathe in the goodness of God and exhale His love. I'm going to read you something from Prayer of Heart and Body by Thomas Ryan. And he talks a lot here about meditation and its purpose, and just gazing upon God and dwelling and being in His presence. And that alone can just bring a lot of peace to our lives. So I encourage you to just sit and continue to breathe as I read this over you. It is one thing to look lovingly into the eyes of an intimate friend and communicate beyond words. But what do we look at when we simply seek to gaze upon God? At first, it seems like nothing more than staring into an empty, blank void. Nothing seems to happen. It feels as if we're wasting our time. To escape from this uncomfortable and seemingly unnatural state, we take the bandage off of our minds and begin to think and speak with God. But eventually we find that this well of words and thoughts dries up every time we try to communicate with God. Then we may feel inclined to abandon prayer altogether because we find ourselves forced to choose between the frustration of not being able to use our minds and the hollow feeling of wasting our time and doing nothing in the darkness that meets us when we silence our minds. But if we avoid this trap and persevere in imageless meditation and expose ourselves in blind faith to the emptiness, the darkness, the idleness, the nothingness, we will gradually discover, at first in small flashes, later in a moment permanent fashion, that there is a glow in the darkness. that the emptiness mysteriously fills our hearts, that the idleness is full of God's activity, that in the nothingness our being is recreated and shaped anew. And all of this in a way that we just cannot describe either to ourselves or to others. We only know that something mysterious has been working within us, bringing refreshment and nourishment and well-being with it. We will notice that we have a yearning hunger to return to this dark contemplation that seems to make no sense, yet fills us with life. What draws you closer to God? Could it be music, nature, being with the ones you love? I invite you just to have that conversation with the Lord and find that fullness that you feel when you are close to God. Slowly begin to find your breath again, finding some movement back in your body, maybe wiggling the fingers, and taking the deepest breath you've taken all day. We're going to end today's meditation with a verse from Psalm 27, verse 1. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is a stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? Amen.